All right. Hello and welcome, everyone. We're going to give it just another minute or so. We have a few people still joining the session from our waiting room. Looks like we have a couple of people who are still, their audio is still connecting. So hopefully within the next few minutes, everybody will be connected and ready to go. Um, Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Anderson. I am the Director of Graduate and Undergraduate Recruitment for the College of Arts and Sciences in Maxwell. Congratulations on your admission. We're so happy that you've joined us tonight for this special session for students who have been admitted to Arts and Sciences in Maxwell, but they're also interested in the Newhouse School of Public Communications. I'm very fortunate to be joined by two resident experts. We have a colleague of mine from the Newhouse School. We have a current student who's actually in both Arts, Maxwell and the Newhouse School. But I'm going to kick it over to Julie real quick so she can introduce herself.
Yeah, and thank you so much for coming tonight. My name is Julie, like Chris said, and I work as the Director of Recruitment and Student Engagement at the Newhouse School. I am very excited to be here. I've been at the university for a long time, and I actually myself was a Newhouse Maxwell dual student way back in the day. So it's lovely to meet you. I'm excited to tell you about all the opportunities of how you might take your course of study in the College of Arts and Sciences, but join us over at the Newhouse School and in a myriad of different ways. And I'm really thrilled to introduce you to David. So David, do you want to tell him a little bit about you?
Sure. Hi, I'm David Barbier Jr. I'm a sophomore studying TV, radio, and film with a dual in international relations. I'm from Miami, Florida. And like many of you, I applied to Newhouse initially as a dual student, and I didn't get in, so I had to work to do an intra-university transfer to ultimately get that dual, and I can't wait to share that with you a little bit later.
Great.
Awesome. Thank you, David and Julie. Just to give you a sense of kind of what this session will entail, Julie and we're going to tell you some important information from the staff side about things we want everyone to know about the College of Arts and Sciences, the Maxwell School in Newhouse. We're going to kick it over to David again to tell you a little bit more about his experience after Julie and I get a chance to tell you some initial information. Then we're going to take your questions. So if there's anything you want to know, hopefully at the end of this session, all of those questions will be answered. Once we wrap up with the presentation side of things, one of the things I really invite you to do, if you feel comfortable doing so, is turn on your camera. It's really great for us to actually see who we're interacting with. It's way more fun for us to actually see who's here participating in the session. And it also is just a great way to start building the community. So if you have heard anything about Syracuse, hopefully you know we have a ton of school spirit. We're always looking at ways we can improve our community and building the community. And one really great way to do that is to actually be able to see everyone here who's in the session. So with that initial information out of the way, I'm going to dive right into our first piece of information. So one of the things that I see a lot of people confused about is the Maxwell School and kind of its status on the undergraduate level. A lot of people think that the Maxwell School is just a graduate school, but that is not the case. The Maxwell School actually offers 10 undergraduate majors. David's doing one of them in international relations. There are 9 others. We even have the option now for students to start in Maxwell undecided. Now, the Maxwell School partners with the College of Arts and Sciences. So in order for the Maxwell School to offer bachelor's degrees, there are a bunch of other courses that Maxwell students need. So when students come to Arts and Sciences in Maxwell, they actually, if they're in Arts and Sciences, can take whatever they want in Maxwell. If they're in Maxwell, they can take whatever they want in the College of Arts and Sciences. And I'm sure David has taken classes in Arts and Sciences in Maxwell, and he can tell you more about the mixture of courses, the interdisciplinary options. And right in front of you now, you should be able to see all of the majors in arts and sciences in Maxwell. This academic unit, like I said, we're joined together, arts and sciences in Maxwell. And between the two schools, we have 50 different majors. So you have a lot of choice. And all of these majors can be paired with Newhouse in some way, shape, or form, whether it's majoring in one of these and minoring in Newhouse, dual majoring. We'll talk about all those options in just a little bit, but all of them really work great with doing things with Newhouse. You'll notice on this list, there are a few majors that are called integrated learning majors. those majors, it's important for you to know, actually require a second major. So if you're interested in any of those majors, digital humanities, energy and its impacts, ethics, forensics, neuroscience, there are a few others, just be aware each of those majors will have a list of majors that you can do as a second major. Some of them are actually allowed to be in Newhouse. Some of them actually have to come from arts and sciences in Maxwell, but you still would have an opportunity to build Newhouse in as a minor. And maybe if you're ambitious, maybe you want to do a third major. We have quite a few students who do that. One other major that requires a second major is citizenship and civic engagement. That is not technically an integrated learning major because there's not like a set list of majors you have to choose from. And we do have students who they do a dual major with CCE and Newhouse. So that's definitely an option for you. Now, in addition to telling you about the majors, I'd love to tell you about some of the things that our students do outside of the classroom. If you haven't heard already, Syracuse University is an R1 research university, which is the highest level in the United States. We have lots of funding for our students to do research. We have lots of opportunities for undergraduates, but also we have a lot of opportunities for you to network and do many awesome internships. Hopefully you can see some of the logos related to some of the internships our students have done in the past, working for organizations like Apple, our local district attorney's office right here in Syracuse and Onondaga County, the NBA Summer League. If you're interested in working for a mass media corporation like Viacom, we have students who do that. But sometimes we get students who are interested in maybe like science, or they want to work for the federal government, but also they want to have some sort of background in communications. And we see students who work for the FBI, in the Pentagon, for the US Department of Defense. Hopefully all of you are well aware that the current president, Joe Biden, he went to Syracuse at our law school. So we have had students in the past when he was vice president do internships in the White House. And I'm pretty certain now that he's the president, those opportunities will return. So we always like to mention tons of options for you to build your resume outside of the classroom. If you're interested in research, the students at the bottom of the slide, they've all done research during their undergraduate experience. Barrington on the left, he's a biochemistry major. He was able to travel to Austria to continue to do research related to biochemistry. On the right-hand side, you see Rachel. She was able to do biology research as well. She also had the opportunity to go abroad for a regular study abroad experience in Stockholm, Sweden. So lots of great options inside the classroom, outside of the classroom. And of course, if you have any questions about arts and sciences in the Maxwell School, just let me know. But now I think Julie's going to tell you a little bit about the Newhouse School and getting involved there.
Yeah, so we are so thrilled to have students across campus be involved at Newhouse, and there's plenty of ways to do so. And I know that you might feel a little discouraged right now, but our hope is that we open the door to many opportunities for you. And some of those might be exploring different majors, taking some intro classes at Newhouse. We have 8 majors at the Newhouse School. And as you kind of explore your first year of studies, most of our students are taking a lot of arts and sciences courses right alongside you. And so our Newhouse students will be taking your psychology courses and taking your statistics courses and taking the writing courses. And you're not really missing out because they're not diving into their major classes really until their sophomore year. But we do have these 8 majors, and the intro courses will be available for students across campus to take, especially in the spring semester. And we recommend taking COM 107, which is kind of a survey course of these majors. And you'll get to go through and think about, how do they really fit? How do they fit what I'm studying in arts and sciences? How is what's inspired me so far of what I've learned in college kind of fitting with maybe some professional goals that I have in the communications world? So there's lots of overlap in what you're taking as a freshman in College of Arts and Sciences, what our freshmen in Newhouse are taking, and the availability to you to, in the second semester, take a Newhouse course or 2 as well. But also, you're probably wondering, can I transfer into Newhouse? Can I add a major at Newhouse from the College of Arts and Sciences? Can I add a minor? Questions that are well worth exploring and may seem different to you at different points, might be enticing in different ways. And so the answer to all of them is yes. You can intra-university transfer. So you can spend your first year or even first and beginning of second year in the College of Arts and Sciences, taking all of those arts and sciences courses, exploring the Newhouse School, still with the goal of working very hard to transfer into the Newhouse School. At that point, it is the admissions process. You can apply after your freshman year, after you've taken 30 credits at Syracuse University. So they have to be Syracuse University credits and 30 of them, which means a full first year schedule. And we admit on a top-down GPA kind of, and we're evaluating this. This is hot off the presses, but currently top-down GPA. And so what David was saying before is he worked really hard to get himself, he knew that was his goal, and to get himself admitted to the Newhouse School. We will receive 150 or so applications a year or a semester for the Newhouse School. And we usually take 75 or 80 applicants in, especially in the spring semester for the next fall. And so honestly, the admission rate is a little bit easier than your first round applying to Newhouse right out of high school. But it does involve you making sure that you're focused on your academics and getting really good grades. It also probably involves you talking with the academic advising team over in the College of Arts and Sciences and selecting classes that might transfer over to the Newhouse School or might complement your intra-university transfer or your dual admission or your dual enrollment plans. And that you feel confident in exploring and getting good grades in as well. And so there's a little strategy in that too. We also, in the end, offer 2 minors. And so if you decide, wow, I am really loving my policy studies degree, that was my favorite in the College of Arts and Sciences, or I'm really loving whatever I'm pursuing, but I'd still like to get a little bit involved in Newhouse, you can apply to a minor as well. Again, it's a GPA-based cutoff. It's a little bit more open as far as getting into. And there's 2 minors. There's a general public communications minor, and then there's a more creative side of the scope minor as well. And so we could talk about those and explore those if that's where you'd like to go. And some of our students, and you'll hear David's story in a moment, decide to come into the College of Arts and Sciences and then completely transfer over to the Newhouse School after their freshman year. You've got 3 chances to apply to the Newhouse School. So after your first year, after your first semester of your second year, and lastly, after your second semester of your sophomore year. After that, there's not enough time to complete the whole Newhouse major. So you got 3 chances to do that. And some students will say, just like David, you know what, I'm liking what I'm studying, I'm going to add the dual major. And so we'll add a second major over in the Newhouse School. And we can answer like home colleges and where all of those advising and things, but basically when you do 2 majors, you get the resources of both schools and colleges with you along the way. Or you can choose to add a minor and specify yourself and give yourself some of the skill set of a communications degree through a minor. But ultimately also, there are just plenty of ways from your freshman year to get involved in what you might be interested in extracurricularly. So whether it's writing for a magazine or working for a television or radio station, or being a part of our advertising agency or our PR agency that operate out of the Newhouse School or across the university's student organizations, those are open for anybody to get involved with. And there'll be a lot of campus involvement fairs, hopefully, as we operate in person right there on the quad in the fall. So you can't miss them. And they're always looking for first year talent to sign up and get involved and be a part of student orgs. And so there's 32 different magazines. There's a bunch of television stations. There's a bunch of radio stations. They all kind of have their specific flavor. And so we're happy to tell you more about each of them, but we're also happy to have you come to campus and explore them for yourself in the fall semester. The last thing we want to tell you about is the opportunity to maybe think about this as a long-term investment. You can spend your time as an undergraduate student in the College of Arts and Sciences and then join the Newhouse School for a master's program. Call this a 4+1 program. Chris, you want to help me out and talk a little bit about the 4+1 program?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a brand new program, and the information is really straightforward and I wouldn't say basic, but very easy to understand. Students can come to Syracuse University in the College of Arts and Sciences in Maxwell and pick any major they want. And as long as you earn a 3.25 GPA by the end of your sophomore year in arts and sciences in Maxwell, you would be guaranteed admission to one of Newhouse's master's programs, and you'd be able to complete it in 1 year. So this is a great program for students who know they want to get a master's program and they want to do it in a really short period of time, a quick period of time. It's also great for students who maybe they were strong students but didn't necessarily make the cut for the intra-university transfer process. And then they would still be able to know that they have this plan to get a degree from Newhouse while they're at Syracuse University. So we have a staff member from the Newhouse School who is actively recruiting students for this program, looking for sophomore students at the end of their second semester who are meeting the GPA and making sure they have all the information that they need. So it's a great new program, and if you have any additional questions about it, please let us know during the Q&A portion of our session. But like I said, pretty straightforward to understand. You need a 3.25 GPA at the end of your sophomore year, any arts and sciences and Maxwell major, and boom, guaranteed admission to a Newhouse master's program.
Sorry, the darn mute button. But all right, we'd love you to spend some time with David. We know he's really the reason you came here. And so thanks for letting Chris and I give you a little info from the staff side. But David, if you'd come along, tell your story a little bit more, and then we'll take your questions. Anything that you would like to know more from David or myself or Chris.
Thanks, Julie. Where should I start? Should I start from
I think
before I
maybe
even got to
start from, yeah, where did you apply? Why did you want to come to Syracuse? And then potentially what happened in your admissions process?
Definitely. So once again, I'm David Barbier. I'm from Miami, Florida. As you see on the screen, it says Posse Foundation Scholar. So my admissions process was a little bit different from other people's admissions process in the Syracuse University. I had thought about other schools like Duke, UCLA, the list goes on and on. But one thing that drew me to Syracuse was the fact that they were a Posse Foundation school, and that just means having a commitment to diversity and inclusion and promoting equitable spaces on campus. Their Newhouse School for Communications was something that just instantly drew me because I love the arts, I love the entertainment industry, and I love the fact that so many of their alumni have gone on to do such great things. Tay Diggs, Aaron Sorkin, that goes on and on. And then they're just vast alumni network. I love the fact that no matter where I went in the world, I knew that someone from Syracuse wouldn't be too far. I mean, I think when you have such a great education, great alumni network, I think that just combines ultimately a great experience in college and after. So that was probably the ultimate reason as to why I applied to Syracuse. Now, as to my selection of majors, I had initially applied to be a dual student. I wanted international relations and TV, radio, and film. And the cards just didn't play out like that. I only got admitted to, arts and sciences in Maxwell. And so it was from that moment on, I was like, okay, what are the steps that I need to take in order to get into Newhouse? How do I make Newhouse happen? Because I've heard it's been done before. I heard it was a treacherous journey, but I knew it was doable. So from that point on, this was like my senior year. I was like, okay, I got in, I'm international relations. I love that. However, I'm not done yet. I need my TV, radio, and film add-on. So I had already started working with arts and sciences and my Newhouse. So my actual Posse mentor, Posse gives you a mentor, was actually a Newhouse advisor. So I had already started talking to her about, what are some of the things Newhouse looks for, et cetera, et cetera. And I made it my arts and sciences advisor's, duty to know that I wanted to get into Newhouse. It was something I always talked about, something that I always proclaimed. And I always wanted him to know that when we're looking at courses, in what way are we essentially working to get me into Newhouse eventually? So freshman year, I came in, started taking courses, and I tried to have my course load look as if I was already taking Newhouse classes or meeting Newhouse requirements. So that means just taking your normal arts and sciences requirements. So many Newhouse students already have to take arts and sciences requirements such as writing 105, writing 205, humanities, your sciences, your social sciences. So I had just done my international relations requirements, but I also tried to make sure, in what way can I try to take a Newhouse requirement at the same time? Spring came around, I took COM 107. I was not officially in Newhouse. However, that course is available to students in the general population. So I was like, hey, God willing, I get into Newhouse, I'll already have a requirement out the way. And if I don't, then at least I'm still learning something and I'm still going to be a part of that community that I ultimately wanted to be a part of. Keeping into account that they do have that GPA cutoff. So freshman year was, I'm not going to lie, very stressful, because that was always something in the back of my mind. It was always something I was like, oh my God, is this course going to drop my GPA? I heard last semester it was this. Am I going to meet that? And I just need you to know that I know how bad you're going to want it. So you're going to have to want to put in that work. And you're going to have to know that this isn't going to be easy, but that once you do put in the work and you get it, like, it'll all have been worth it. So that's a little bit about how my experience went transferring to Newhouse. I ultimately got the GPA and I was able to get in. And now I'm officially TRF and international relations.